Okay, I've got 6 o'clock. This is the regular meeting of the county commissioners. Today's Tuesday, February the 19th, 2019. And I would like to start off with our invocation. I believe we got Pastor Dwayne Parton with us from United Methodist Church in Mount Gilead. Is that correct, sir? Okay, come forward and give us our wisdom.
Thank you. Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past and our hope for years to come, God of our weary years and God of our silent tears, who has brought us thus far on the way, we give you thanks for this day and the gifts that have come with it. We give you thanks for this community, its residents and its leaders, and for every seat that is filled this evening. Give us guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Let our words be charitable and our spirits honorable as we seek to nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make any decisions that might affect our neighbors. And may any actions we take be for the sake of the common good. I ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Parton. And I believe we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Manager, if you would lead us in the pledge.
If you are able, please rise and join us in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I think I need a motion for approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion made by Commissioner Matheny,
I'll second it.
second made by Commissioner Crisco. All in favor?
Aye.
And I believe the next thing on our agenda is the oath of office for Mr. Harvey Mack, District 3 Commissioner.
I think Clerk of Court John Deaton's here. If you'll ask Mr. Mack to step down.
The Honorable Clerk of Court.
If you'll raise your right hand for me, and just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Harvey Mack,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as County Commissioner.
as County Commissioner.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Harvey Mack,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North
to
Carolina
the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support,
and that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution and said state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name,
I, Harvey Mack,
do further swear
do further swear
that I will well and truly execute
that I will well and truly
the
execute
duties of the office
the duties of the office
of County Commissioner
of County Commissioner
for the County of Montgomery
for the County of Montgomery
according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability,
and abilities,
according to law,
according to law.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Commissioner Mack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hi, Clerk.
My pleasure.
Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we do need to swear in the clerk of, to the board, Kerry Watkins, but we're going to have to get that oath. It's a different oath, and so John's going to step back across the street and get that oath. So if we can, we will move that item down on the agenda and swear her in when John gets back. That's okay.
Okay. I believe then with that in mind, we've got the, next on the agenda, we've got the dedication of the Anthony G. Copeland Commissioner Workshop. By the Board of Commissioners.
Yes, sir. If I may, Anthony Copeland was a much beloved commissioner, gentleman, sorely missed. And in his honor, the Board of Commissioners wanted to dedicate a space here in the county. And we thought that an appropriate space would be one that's always in sight of this board, and that is the Commissioner's Workroom. That's the space where the commissioners come together with the staff of the county to really get down into the nuts and bolts of county government and really make things happen. And that's what Anthony was about. And I will point everybody's attention to the plaques on the wall and the proverb that was often quoted by Chairman Copeland. A small token of certainly nothing to the significance of the man, but I certainly thank the Board of Commissioners for thinking of Anthony and dedicating that space. And so for years to come, when we get together, or the folks after us get together, they will remember Anthony and his legacy.
Very appropriate. Thank you very much, and we're proud to do that.
And I welcome anybody to walk through. The IT department has installed a new flat screen TV, so instead of the old chalkboard that we typically been using, or the projector on the wall, we can now hook up electronically. And again, a small token, but certainly we remember Anthony very kindly.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe we got Chrissy Haynes here tonight with the Montgomery Youth Leadership. Did I say it right?
Yes, sir, but I apologize to Chrissy that we did not get it on the agenda. We usually try to, but she called and said that the group was available to come, and we certainly always enjoy their company. And so, Chrissy, if you want to come forward and give us the 101 on what the group's doing, and then maybe call them up individually or as a group and let them introduce themselves to the...
Thank you.
My name is Chrissy Haynes. I'm the 4-H Youth Development Extension Agent with Cooperative Extension here in Montgomery County. Thank you for having us tonight. This is our Youth Leadership Montgomery class for this year. They are wrapping up the year. We'll graduate them out in May. But they commit themselves to an entire school year of leadership responsibilities and activities. So this week we have True and Discover Places on Friday during their teacher work day. We usually spend teacher work days together doing something that's centered around the program and building them into being a stronger leader. They're supposed to learn how local decisions are made, so that's why we're here tonight, to learn how local decisions are made on the county level. We also attend school board meetings. We go to Raleigh and meet with our legislators. We participate in the legislative brunch that the community college sponsors. They will shadow a leader with someone in their career field, spend an entire day with someone in their career field. They have a notebook. You may see them writing tonight, but they have to complete assignments that go along with this program. And it is truly a year-long commitment that they have to take on to be to be able to use that on their resume and be a stronger leader within their communities and within their schools. So we thank you for having us tonight. I do want to give them the opportunity to go around the room, tell you their name and what grade they are in and what school they go to.
Absolutely.
My name is Elizabeth Tedder, and I am a junior at the Montgomery County Early College. I'm Lindsay Tedder, and I'm a junior at the Early College. I'm Beverly Perez, and I'm a junior at the Early College. My name is Emery Sanchez, and I'm a senior at East Montgomery High School. My name is Celeste Hymas, and I'm a freshman at East Montgomery High School. My name is Samantha Fanica. I go to West Montgomery High School, and I'm a senior.
My name is Roberto Jimenez, and I'm a freshman at East Montgomery High School.
I'm Gwen Hymas, and I'm a senior at East Montgomery.
I'm Jody Massey, and I'm a freshman at Montgomery College.
I'm Austin
Sunny Ingram, and I'm a junior at East Montgomery High School.
I'm Peggy Patel. I am in 10th grade and I am from school.
I'm Ruben Velasco-Perez. I am a senior at East Montgomery High School.
Thank you for having us tonight. We have 23 youth in this year's program. There's a few who are playing ball games, or one had wisdom teeth taken out today. But you may see them sporadically over the next couple months because they still have to come and see you to complete the program.
Well, we're
So,
very
thank you
proud
for having us.
we're very proud of our young people, and our future's in good hands. And the commissioners would like to give them a little pin tonight, a logo, Montgomery County logo pin. And do you want them to come up and get it, or you want us to go down?
We can, probably be easier to make the trek down there.
Okay, we're gonna come down and give you a pin.
Thank you, guys. Can we take a picture with you? Would you mind?
I don't think it'll hurt their reputation.
Not at all. Not at all. You guys can, you guys can, and then you guys can go down and do our short girl thing. Can you all be saying this on me for you? Okay, right, thank you. Let's say.
Step up on that little, put him right above the pedestal where he died.
Thank you. Friday. Thank you very much.
Move over this way.
Okay. Okay, I believe we've got another presentation, recognition of service to the public. We'll call on Mike Dutton, or
Yeah, Mike's the EMS chief here, First Health, that serves Montgomery County so well, and I think he's brought some fine folks with him, and certainly appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you for having us.
You want to make introductions up front before we?
I think he wants to say a little piece and then we'll introduce
Okay.
them.
Very good, thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Matthew Harmony, Medical Director for First Health EMS, including Montgomery County EMS, and happy to be here tonight. Appreciate your all's time. Briefly, over hundreds of thousands of patients die from cardiac arrest every year in this country, and despite all our fancy technology and medical advancements, we have very few successes. People that actually leave the hospital neurologically intact or at their baseline after a cardiac arrest. So we work real hard to help celebrate those few successes that we do have. Well less than 10% of people that suffer from a cardiac arrest actually leave the hospital alive and neurologically intact. We talk about what's called a chain of survival that reaches from people that first respond to a cardiac arrest, there to provide CPR, to our telecommunicators in our 911 centers, all the way to our EMS staff and people in the hospital, our doctors and nurses. So I'm happy to be able to share this success story here in Montgomery County. Back in early November last year, we had a cardiac arrest in which telecommunicators were involved as well as our EMS staff. We got patient successfully to the hospital, and that patient was successfully resuscitated and returned to her normal functioning and left the hospital successfully. So I'd like to have Mike Dutton introduce both the telecommunicator and the EMS staff who were involved with the call tonight.
And, first of all, the telecommunicator was Tiffany Kaufman. She's with the 911 center here for Montgomery County. And the lead paramedic on the call was Alvin Pascal. He's actually a new paramedic with us for about 2 years now. This is very, very good for him to get started out this way. We're proud of him. And Justin Reynolds is the EMT on the call. Justin's been with us for a few years now. Actually, born and raised right here in Montgomery County. Great job. And the supervisor, another paramedic that was on the call with them, is Andy Sanders. Andy's been with us for about 15 years and right here in Montgomery County. Get closer. Get from closer.
You could step behind Tiffany, there you go. Mike, you're too short to do that.
Thank you very much.
And we want to thank everybody for their heroic duties. Ms. Manager, I believe I got out of order on the agenda. We need to nominate a vice chair to the board. As everyone knows, Mr. Commissioner Copeland was the chairman, and with his passing, I moved up to the chair. And so now I need to entertain a nomination for another vice chair, a new vice chair.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Commissioner Robinson as vice chair.
Commissioner Knight nominates Commissioner Robinson for the vice chair.
I'll second the nomination.
Commissioner Matheny seconded the nomination. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Moving up quick.
Chairman, Clerk of Court John Deaton, Honorable John Deaton's back. If we can maybe get back on agenda here and
Okay.
let Kerry Watkins come up to the podium and see if she can repeat that long
Okay.
paragraph.
Come on up, High Clerk. Ms. Watkins.
Let me apologize to you because lesson learned in skimming emails and not reading them all the way through to the emails. I can have you place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right, please. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Carrie Watkins,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be
and
faithful
bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authority
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support,
and I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of man state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, Carrie Watkins,
do swear
do swear
that I will well and truly execute
that I will well and truly
the
execute
duties of the office
the duties of the office
of clerk to the Montgomery County
of clerk to the Montgomery County
Board of Commissioners
Board of Commissioners
according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skills
and ability,
and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of stuff, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm glad I said I, it really helped them. Yeah, that's what we kind of did, but it was a smaller little thing, it wasn't always.
Thank you, High Clerk. Okay, we're come to the portion of our meeting now where we've got the public forum. Public forum is to allow any citizen to come forward and if you've got something on your mind or want to talk about or something to discuss, this is open to public discussion. There are some rules that we need to follow for that discussion. I'm gonna call on the county manager to,
Chairman, thank you. The public comment period shall be for the purpose of allowing members of the public to comment on county business or items on the Board of Commissioners' agenda. This period shall not serve as a forum for debate with the Board of Commissioners. Remarks shall be addressed directly to the board and not to staff, the audience, or media. The chairman shall open the public comment period. Any person who wishes to speak shall approach the podium and announce his or her name and their physical address prior to making comment. Any citizen desiring to comment on a matter of public interest within the authority of the Board of Commissioners to legislate in an open forum shall be allotted 3 minutes time to speak. Citizens may yield their time on a specific topic by utilizing no more than 2 citizens' time slots. This will allow up to, but no more than 9 minutes. If a person exhausts their 3 minutes and someone wishes to yield time, I'll need that person to come up to the podium and state their name and address to yield time. The county manager, that's me, shall notify the chairman upon the expiration of the allocated time.
thank you very much, Mr. Manager. We've had 2 or 3 to sign up for public comment. I can't quite make out the Cruz, Mr. Cruz, Ms. Cruz,
Terry Crews,
Terry Cruz.
I think he left.
Did he leave?
He was here, but he left.
Okay, what about Mr. John Shaw? Come on up, sir. Mr. Shaw, if you don't mind, state your name and your address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is John Shaw, 146 Fairway Shores Road in Mount Gilead, North Carolina. I'm the general manager of Liliesburg Marina, located in Mount Gilead on the shores of Lake Tillery. In addition to my duties for the marina, we're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm also on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. In addition to that, I'm also on the board of the Uwharrie National Forest Festival, 10 days in Uwharrie, that we successfully got from the state, the Dean North Carolina Outdoor Festival this past year. In all of these endeavors, what myself and the ownership intends to do is to continue to promote tourism in this region, specifically Montgomery County, because that's where we live. And the matter by which I would like to discuss with the commission tonight is the fact that there is on the ballot to be, or on the agenda to be, the disbanding of the Tourism Development Authority. We feel as though we are in the infancy of the tourism industry here in Montgomery County, but we, as in myself and the ownership, feel as though this is a market that is going to be a giant for us, an economic driver for the county and the region. What we see as far as to the disband the Tourism Development Authority now is the county taking a step back from this industry, from where we're at. We don't understand as far as what the plan would be if we don't have a Tourism Development Authority. More information as far as what the next step would be would definitely make it a little bit easier to understand why it is we're going to remove the county's involvement in the tourism industry at this point, this juncture where so much has been invested, and otherwise how well we are doing in the tourism industry. We had thousands of people come through for the festival. We have tens of thousands of people come through our facility in the last 2 seasons that we've had. They've been banner years by which have driven property tax, sales tax, revenue through our fuel sales and otherwise. So we really want the county, the municipalities, all to benefit through tourism because of what we have seen. I'm a resident, a lifelong resident, and as a child, the textile industry leaving left a void in our community, almost as if our culture has gone away, and we would like to see something else come back. We feel as though tourism is where we're going to see a boom for service industry, for employment, for revenue for the county. So we would like for the county to seriously consider the matter as far as to disband the authority. If that is what you consider and that's what you intend to do, then we have actionable information on where we're going next as far as what the county is going to do to be involved in the tourism industry. We do plan on moving forward in our own endeavors, but we would really like to be in partnership with, again, the county, the municipalities, the other private businesses that also thrive on the tourism industry in the Yorie National Forest and on the lakes. There's plenty going on in the county that does need your help and your guidance, and we definitely want that. So just in consideration of the matter, please understand that we have benefited from the staff that is on the commission now, or the authority now, and would love to see more action with an authority. And again, if we're going to do something different, let us know so that we can be involved in that endeavor as well. And I will yield my time, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I think for the sake of keeping it all in order, is there anyone else here who wants to speak on the Tourism Development Authority? Yes, come forward. State your name, please, and your address.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Kearney, 174 Lost Lake Drive, Troy, North Carolina. Good evening, Commissioners. I hope you're well. I just want to briefly speak about the topic on the agenda about the resolution for the occupancy tax and the dissolvement of the TDA. I'm a local business owner here in Montgomery County. I've been here 5 years, so I'm still learning the county and learning all the things that are involved here and all the things that we have to offer. And over the past 2 years specifically, the growth in our outdoor industry, our downtown areas, and the things that we've seen coming here to Montgomery County has been tremendous. And a lot of that, I believe, is due to what's been going on within our Tourism Development Authority. I sent you an email this afternoon. You may not have had an opportunity to review it. I hope you will please forward it to Commissioner Mack, as I did not have his email available. I would request that the Commissioners consider tabling that item on the agenda for further discussion with business owners like myself, community members, board of directors of organizations that have benefited through this development, and things that were on the horizon for this county, because it is extremely important that we continue the momentum that we've built over the last several years and keep that moving forward for our community, because there's great things on the horizon. I know that Mr. Shaw mentioned the 10 days of Yorie. The planning for that has already started, and it's seeing even greater movements than it has last year. So I appreciate your consideration for maybe tabling that on the agenda so you can have additional time to do some conversations with members of the public. I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on the Tourism Development Authority issue? Yes, come forward. Could you give us your name and address, please?
Good evening. My name is Talina Gooch. I live at 140 North Shoreline Drive in Baden Lake, North Carolina, here in Montgomery County. And I am a current member of the Montgomery County Tourism Development Authority. And before you tonight, you have, instead of the 3 applications that we submitted, that we plan to submit to the board and submitted to the county manager, instead of that, you have on the consent agenda a resolution to repeal the Montgomery County occupancy tax. We had sent applications to renew Melinda Cagle, add Savannah Heath, who is the small business director at Montgomery Community College, and also add Dana Dawson, who is the owner of Yorie Mercantile and a former market executive. Those applications were sent to the county manager, but were not presented to you. Before making such a drastic decision for the citizens of Montgomery County, I know you would like to have more information. So I do ask that you table this subject and get that information from the board and other citizens. I did send each of you an email earlier this afternoon, and I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss any questions about this important organization with you further at any time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gooch. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on the Tourism Development Authority issue? I see no further hands. Any of the commissioners want to make any comments on this issue?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say I think the county is very interested in tourism and realizes the importance to Montgomery County economic development, and is very supportive of the development of tourism. I think that there have been issues with the TDA and how expenditures were handled. There's issues with the legislation that enables the establishment of the TDA and the collection of the tax. I think it's a good time to just sit back, not sit back, but step back and take the step that the county has proposed, which is to engage a consulting firm to help us develop a strategy for tourism. And at that point, hopefully it would include reestablishment of the TDA, reappointment of a Tourism Development Authority, and reimplementation of the occupancy tax. And I would hope that that could be done in a reasonable time frame, but I think, again, that it's in the best interest of tourism and the county to take this step and proceed in this direction.
Thank you, Commissioner Matheny. Any other comments? Okay, I hear none. That's all people that had signed up for the public forum. Is there anyone here who wants to speak on any other issue? Mr. Knight. Thank you for coming tonight, Mr. Knight. If you would, state your name and address for the record, please.
I'd like to say first, good evening, Mr. Chair, and to the other commissioners. And I would like to ask a favor of the chair also and the clerk. I would like to have a copy of the approved minutes from this meeting, and I would also like to have a tape also. If there's any cost, I'll be glad to pay. My name is George Knight, and I'd like to first introduce myself before the clock starts, like everybody else. I'm a retired Marine of 20 years.
Mr. Knight, we'll need your address, please.
My address is 2773 North Carolina Highway 109 South. That is in Mount Gilead. I was about to say that I have two other people here that was going to yield their time. And I noticed that other people's time started when they start presenting their time. So mine started already, so I better get down to it. I've noticed in this county, ever since I've been back here, I served my time honorably. I'm a disabled veteran, Vietnam veteran, and I fought for my country. I want you to know that. That flag, I've saluted many times. I've took that Pledge of Allegiance many times. I've prayed many times. And I've heard all of that since I've been here tonight. And I hope that you will abide by the things that you have attested to here tonight. The prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance, and whatever else. I remember sitting where you were sitting there now for 6 years, and it's been 10 years ago since I was sitting there. I left, anyhow, I want to let you know tonight, and I tried to get the Democratic party chair to come and ask you to not do what you have done here tonight, because you didn't have all the information. We voted, and I think two of the commissioners was over there last Monday night when we voted. We voted for our representation in District 3. And that's how we usually get things done is, through the voting process. I've seen you do it here tonight, voting process. We voted there on Monday night for the person to represent us in District 3. Now, first of all, the chair said that all the districts voting would be, have a quorum. There were not a quorum for all the districts that voted. I think you know there was a mess over there the other night. Anyhow, we had one of the candidates voting for himself. That was wrong. We had one of the candidates receiving 3 votes, one of his own and 2 other votes from precincts that did not have a quorum. So if you do your math, that leaves 0 votes for that person. That person is sitting on the board here tonight. I wish that you had waited, because you have done something that is wrong. A commissioner told me one time that 3 votes could change the day of the week.
Mr. Knight, if I could stop you just for a moment to get somebody who will yield their time to you.
Stan, will you please?
Go ahead, you say your name, ma'am.
My name is Dorsey Turner. My address is 232 Redwood Road, Mount Gilead.
Ms. Turner, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have another lady.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Knight.
My name is Tasha Medley. I reside at 347 North View Road, Mount Gilead.
Ms. Miller, thank you.
Thank you.
I remember also, Mr. Chair, back when people could talk as long as they wanted to. They started 3 minutes because Commissioner Knight liked to run his mouth. Anyhow, I remember back when, and I can remember when I first came to back to this county, there had to my knowledge, there hadn't been a Republican voted to serve on this board, to my knowledge. I think Brady Dixon happened to be the first one, and he was voted on here after we did the district. George Knight came back here. He was president of the NAACP, and I knew the law let us have districts because we deserve representation in this county. So we sued the county commissioners. Even back then, people didn't want to get along. I guess you know that. Because anytime that you have to sue somebody, it's because somebody didn't get along. We had to sue the county commissioners back then because the law allowed us to do the districts, and we got the districts. So we got District 3 that represented the black people of this county. Now, that meant that the people of District 3 were supposed to elect the person of their choice. Not you people, not your choice. You were to appoint the person that we wanted. Because if I went around the room today, there would be some of you didn't even know what was going on when you voted for the person that you voted for. And I know how it worked. As long as you get your 2 other votes and you got your 3 votes, you can just about do what you want to do as long as don't nobody protest it. But that don't mean that you are within the law. I have proven that in this county that it doesn't mean that you are within the law just because you got 3 votes. Because I remember when you carried me to jail in here. I remember that, but you were wrong. And Mr. Chair, I like to say, anytime you hold a recess, when you reconvene, you should have all your commissioners seated. They didn't do me like that. They even got rid of me on the health board while they had me over at the jail. I'm trying to show you that you can make a mistake just because you had 3 votes. Don't mean you were right. If you go back and check the law, now you swear to uphold the Constitution, you should obey the law. Now the law say you were wrong. We were supposed to send you a nominee over here. Now to me, a nominee means what? 1 person. If we send you a nominee and you decide that you don't want that person, you know what would be the, I say courteous, to show courteous, you would let us know why you didn't want to appoint that person. Am I making sense? Do you hear me? That is the law. Go back and check it. Call the people. And one other thing that I found out, that you do what you want to do because you don't have to pay your attorney. You know who pays your attorney? Us taxpayers. So you can do what you want to do. You don't have to worry about getting sued. You don't have to worry about paying no attorney. I heard a commissioner tell me that. We don't have to worry about paying an attorney. We can do what we want to do. And I'm saying this because I want it part of the record. I want you to know that Harvey Mack didn't receive any votes over there the other night because wasn't nobody eligible enough. Wait a minute. Wasn't nobody eligible enough to vote for him. Okay? Franchon Robertson received 4 votes. I had 13 people in my precinct. Waver had 7 in theirs. Now, it only takes 5 to have a quorum. She had 4 votes from just those 2 precincts. If you check the record, you'll find out that you might have had one other precinct that had a quorum. But see, that didn't mean anything to you when you made that decision. You base your decision on one person's idea of who should be and who should not be. You don't serve the people of Montgomery County that way. If you're going to be fair, you be fair to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Knight. Appreciate your comments. Does anybody have any comments on this item? Okay. Anyone else want to speak at all in the public forum about any?
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
I think it might be important to ask Mr. Woodard to explain the law and the procedure that we use to select a.
Very good. Mr. Woodard, can you do that?
Chairman, I'll be glad to. In North Carolina, when there's a vacancy on the Board of Commissioners, as was the case with the passing of Anthony Copeland, the counties of North Carolina are really divided into 2 pots. I forget the exact number. It may be 42 or 48 in one pot and 50 some in the other pot. But Montgomery County is one of the counties where the Board of Commissioners gets to pick the replacement for the commissioners that pass. The general statute says they must pick somebody of the same political party of the same district. Montgomery County is divided into 3 districts. At one time, before Mr. Knight, there was all at large, and so the 5 highest vote getters got the commissioner seat. And thanks to Mr. Knight's efforts, in order to ensure a minority seat onto the board, Montgomery County was redistricted. And District 3 stretches from Kinder along the southern part of Montgomery County up into Mount Gilead. And so the Board of Commissioners, by statute, can pick anybody that is a registered Democrat, which is the party of Anthony Copeland, and was residing in District 3 and eligible to vote. The Board of Commissioners did an application process to open it to all the residents in District 3 who were eligible to hold the seat. I believe we had 6 applications. The general statute says that the county shall consult with the Democrat Party on the nomination, but they're not required to accept that nomination. And so that's what the commissioners did. They held applications, received 6. Those 6 applicants went to the Democrat Party. Our 2 Democrat commissioners at the time, Chairman Wooten and Commissioner Robinson, went and participated in that process, and then the board interviewed those applicants, and a choice was made. I believe the Democrat Party from their meeting sent forth 2 names, Franchon Robinson and Harvey Mack. The other counties, the party chooses. And so whoever, if it's a Republican Party, that party body chooses. If it's the Democrat Party, as in this case, they would have gotten to choose, and the board would have to accept that. It is a good study in political science to examine why there are 2 different pots. There's pros and cons for each. But that would be a good assignment, Chrissy, if you'll assign that as to why the counties are not treated the same. But I'll leave it at that and turn it back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manager. Anybody else got any comments? Yes.
Chairman, have I missed my public forum? I did
No.
not intend to speak, but,
Come on up. Come on up and state your name and your address.
My name is Shirley Harris, and I serve as first vice chair of the Democratic Party here in Montgomery County. I live at 229 Fox Den Road, Troy.
Thank you.
First, I just regret that this is contentious. There was no intent on the part of the Democratic Party for it to be this way. But we should have submitted one name to the county commission for consideration. We responded in consideration of the request that came to us that we submit 2 names. Well, we know that you had 6 applicants, and obviously I know what the law says, and I'm not an attorney, but it does seem that there are some things that can be argued here tonight, because I've heard some points that mean that we may not have given this process enough time and attention. We should have submitted one name that is in our plan of organization. A name should have been submitted. And the record should show that Franchon Robinson did receive the most votes. I regret this because the one thing I saw that night was that we had 6 applicants and all were very good applicants. And I found myself thinking about the leadership opportunities that need to be there for all those folks that want to step up and serve. But I think I would be remiss as a member of the Democratic Party and a believer in the democratic process if I did not clarify that Franchon Robinson did receive the most votes in that process that was held that night. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Is anyone else here who wants to speak on the process of the commissioner? Anyone here want to speak on any issue, public forum issue? I'd like to make a comment, if I may, Mr. Manager. In response to what Ms. Harris said, I was at that meeting, myself and Commissioner Robinson was at that meeting, and I informed them that the statute put it on the county commissioners to appoint the replacement, the vacancy. It was a county commissioner appointment. We were there to consult with the Democrat Party to get their consultation. I believe I'm the one that asked to submit 2 names just so we'd know if you can't get this name, would you want another one? That was not a requirement of law. That, you know, the fact that the taking a vote was not a requirement of law that I know of. It was just simply to take counsel from the Democrat Party. And so I'll take responsibility for that if that wasn't correct. But I think this board did the best they could. We interviewed all 6 applicants at length. Every commissioner here got an opportunity to question them. and talk with them, and they were great applicants. But as far as the process at the Democrat Executive Committee meeting, you know, Dottie and I heard them out till 9:30. And, you know, we did the best we could do with that, and brought that finding back to the board. So that's my comment on it. Any further comments from any commissioner? Let's move on with the, okay, I believe we're on the consent agenda section of the agenda tonight. Do we need any comment on that, Mr. Manager? Just, has that already been consented to, more or less?
No, it's, consent agenda requires a motion, or in a second.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion been made by Commissioner Matheny. Is there a second to accept the second made by Mr. Harvey Mack? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And that moves us to the county manager's report.
Yes, sir. We have two appointments. The first appointment that needs to be approved by the board is to fill Anthony Copeland's term on the ABC board. The proceeds from the ABC sales in the county go to help law enforcement, and Wayne Wooten, former sheriff, has agreed to fill out Anthony's term, and so we need a motion and a second on your appointment to the ABC board for the remainder of Anthony's term.
Motion for Chairman Wooten to complete Anthony's term on the ABC board.
Motion made by Commissioner Robinson. A second by Mr. Harvey Mack. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the second appointment is Commissioner Robinson. She will be filling Jackie's seat on the Piedmont Triad Rural Planning Organization, the PPRPA.
Do I hear a motion to appoint Dottie Robinson to the Piedmont Triad?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Crisco,
Second.
second by Commissioner Matheny. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioners, thank y'all for your service to those very important boards. Chris Hildreth would like to come forward and to present two action items. These items are included in your board packet. They are construction agreement with Department of Transportation. As they're doing work on 2427, we want to be able to make improvements to our water system as they do relocations. And Chris has outlined some of those necessary improvements, and with that request a project budget ordinance that would allocate the funds for those improvements. Chris, if you will tell us about the work.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Yes, sir. The DOT project is labeled R2530B, and that's the improvements to 2427 basically from the Albemarle city limits to just inside of Montgomery County on the east side of the bridge. That's where it kind of intersects with some of our facilities, some of our water facilities. We've got an 8-inch water line running along that road. It comes from the water treatment plant in Mount Gilead, up Lily's Bridge Road, up Highway 73, turns right on 2427 headed east, and then actually both directions, but mainly north on River Road. Typically, in this case is no different. DOT, they will pay for the relocation of any facilities, any utility facilities that are affected by the project. However, they give you opportunity to do betterments if the owner of that utility so wishes, but of course they're not going to fork out the money for the betterments. In this case, we do see that corridor as a potential growth area for residential and some commercial development. So I think it would be wise to upsize that line in that area while we got the ground open from an 8 to a 12, and that's what this utility construction agreement outlines. It's
basically stating that the estimated cost for the improvements is roughly $60,000, and that the county's responsible for that, and just the relocation back with the same facilities, the DOT would take care of that. They also will reimburse us for our engineering cost for the design and inspection of the facilities. And so that's the first action item, is just the approval of the utility construction agreement for the county to enter into agreement with DOT with those terms.
Does that require a motion, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. We'll need a motion first on action item 1, which is the utility construction agreement. And then after that, a separate motion to accept the project budget ordinance.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for action item 1 on the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Frisco,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Robinson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And also need to entertain a motion for action item. Have you gone over that yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
I'm sorry.
So the project budget ordinance is the next action item, and you'll see that it's different from the 60,000. It's 175,000, which is 102,000 for engineering cost. That will be reimbursed by DOT. We have to expend it first. That's why it's in the project budget ordinance. And then 73,000 for the stated improvements, which is roughly a 10%, 15% contingency in case there's anything once we open the ground. And so the total project budget ordinance is 175. Out of pocket for the county is no more than 73.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion for action item 2.
Move to approve the budget amendment.
Motion made by Commissioner Matheny,
I'll second it.
seconded made by Commissioner Frisco. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman, I'd like to thank Chris and Robbie as well, too. They are continuing to work with FEMA about the line replacement down here on Pekin Road, and also about the possibility of, instead of doing that connection, doing the east-west connection on 73. And so thank them for their work. If I could, I certainly want to thank the commissioners for coming in early today and doing one of our quarterly work sessions. Chrissy, I certainly will let your folks know that if you are available, our next work session is in April. It'll be the same day as the Board of Commissioners meeting, but if you really want to get a good look at the nuts and bolts, hands-on, then those long work sessions is where you need to go. And it is a public meeting, and the public is welcome to and encouraged to attend. And so, Commissioner Mack, you are new to the board, and I know you've met plenty of staff today in that work session, but we are very grateful that the staff comes and participates in our meetings, and I would ask them to stand up if you would, just so you could make sure you know everybody. You just met Chris Hildreth and Robbie. Robbie, if you'll stand, Brian Helms, IT Director, Molly, Cooperative Extension. Chrissy, you can stand up. The Sheriff, Chris Watkins, David Atkins at the library, Renee at the HR, CD, and I know Belinda was here earlier, and she had to step out, and Stephanie, who you met during the Consolidated Board of Health and Human Services. And so I know they welcome you, and we're delighted to work for you and with you and for the people of Montgomery County. So thank y'all. Oh, did I miss somebody? Oh, Brian was, you hide behind Brian. Andrew was hiding behind Brian. I know Harvey Mack knows Andrew very well. Harvey Mack served on the planning board for how many years, Commissioner?
Oh, jeez. At least 5, 6. How many, Andrew? I was here before you came. A number of years.
But I apologize, Andrew, I didn't see you. If I missed anybody else? Okay. Mr. Knight asked about the minutes and the recording. Mr. Knight, we do videotape the meetings. Brian Helms, IT Director, will have that uploaded tomorrow, and so anybody can go to our county website and click on the Board of Commissioners meetings, and they will be able to watch the YouTube video of this meeting tomorrow. staff reports are included in the packet. Staff's here to answer any questions, and so am I.
Anyone have any questions for the staff? Any questions for the manager? Does that complete our agenda, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion to adjourn. You need a motion, not do you? You need a motion?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Make a motion made by Commissioner Frisco. Second. Second by Commissioner Mack. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Thank everybody for their time.